Welcome to our May weekly spending plan video. This is where we take our May monthly budget that we've already done. You can go watch that video. It's got 10 tips in it for planning for May, things that you might want to consider budgeting for May or creating sinking funds for next May.
Hi, I'm Megan with Bethel Budgets. I'm here because it's more than just math. At some point, you've probably built a budget. You've laid out your income, you've laid out your expenses, and thought it's simple math. I'll just stick to what's on the paper. But then life happened and your budget didn't work out. The reason? Because it's more than just math. That's where I come in. Let's figure this out together. Don't give up. You've got this.
So now that we have that monthly budget that's zero-based, we're going to take and make our weeks go down to zero-based. So we're going to take each paycheck, however many paychecks you get, we're going to take each paycheck and we're going to line it up with what bills come out of that paycheck. And we're going to make sure that you have enough income that week to cover all the bills that are due that week. What this does is this helps us to make sure that the plan that we made for the month is actually feasible, that you have enough income to cover the bills. So this will point out any problems that you're having, any more than just math moments that you may be having. Perhaps so many things are due on the first of the month. Maybe you have more things due on the first of the month than you have income coming in on the first of the month. So then you may need to split pay your bills. You may need to get on the phone and ask somebody to move a due date. You may need to get a month ahead. And how do you do that? You're going to have to start saving money in that bill pay account so that you can get a month ahead. Or maybe you just need a buffer for some of these bills and start saving for that. So this helps you to coming up with a weekly spending plan, helps you come up with a plan for those more than just math moments that may be derailing your monthly budget. You may be putting in the work to do a monthly zero-based budget and it's falling apart because of your weekly spending plan. You may not have enough money on a week that all your bills are due to pay all of those bills. This is why we do this. It's so important to know where those pitfalls may be. So let's jump in to my weekly spending plan. On the screen here, you can see my spreadsheet for my weekly spending plan. I love to do everything on my Remarkable too. I'm a pen and paper girl through and through, but this part has a lot of math to it. So I like to do this part in the spreadsheet. I'll still do it on my Remarkable too sometimes and then just do the closeouts on my spreadsheet. But this time I'm doing the weekly spending plan on the spreadsheet because it's also easier to film this way. It's easier to film. It's easier because the math is done for you and it's color coded. So if it's red, you're over budget. If it's green, it's extra. And if it's black, it's right on budget. So I like it because it's easy math and it's color coded. So on my screen, I have weekly spending plan. In my hand, I have my monthly budget from May. So I'm going to copy these numbers in there. Let me show you around the spreadsheet real quick. Across the top, we have our planned income. So this is where we put, I expect to get paid on the 1st, the 4th, and the 15th. You may have more paychecks coming in, but I still want you to do this around 4 weeks. If you have 5 paychecks, just smush 2 of those together. You're not going to want to plan out for more than 4 weeks. You're not going to want to close out more than 4 weeks when we get to that step. Just keep these together. So for example, my 1st and 4th paycheck are actually close enough together that I could do them on the same column and just have 2 columns. I choose to do this one because I like the structure of it. I like to check in more than once, and it's easier for me to do a paycheck closeout on the 4th than it is at the end of the month when I'm getting closer to the monthly closeout. So these are the planned dates for my income, and I get those from my monthly budget master copy. Now this is where I'm going to enter in my expected amounts for my income. These categories and due dates come straight from my monthly budget master copy. The only thing that you need to change, or that I need to change, is any due dates that would change. Most of my due dates stay the same, except for down here when I'm giving my children their income. It's always the 2nd Saturday of the month. So the 2nd Saturday in May is the 11th. So I'm gonna type in the 11th here. Okay, and then what goes here in this light tannish purple column is your planned spending from your monthly budget. So really you can just copy these numbers over. I'm going to enter them in just a minute. So all of this whole portion then, the categories, the due dates, and the plan, you're getting that from your monthly budget. Then what we're doing new with this spreadsheet, the weekly spending plan, is we're breaking this down then from what we plan to get this paycheck, and this paycheck. And we're budgeting according to due dates and how much money we have left over to make each week go down to zero instead of just the whole month. When you get your paycheck here and then you budget this money, this remaining column, this auto totals it. So I'm going to show you how that works in just a minute. But let me go through, let's enter our income first. So on the first of the month, I get 2158. On the fourth of the month, my husband gets 2,400, and on the 15th, he also gets 2,400. So that means I plan to get $6,958. This auto-populated for me. It's got a formula in there, and so does this. So my planned income is $6,958. Now what I'm going to go do is enter all my planned spending for my categories from my monthly budget down here. I'm going to enter these numbers and I'll be right back with you. Okay, so I've got all of my planned spending in here according to my monthly budget. So my planned income was $6,958. And I've gone through and I've entered all of my planned income from my monthly budget, and I didn't miss anything because it now says that my planned spending is $6,958. So you can see that right there. So the next step in these light purple columns are to put in our spending by the due dates that they are due. And these remaining columns will total this as we go. So those are formulated columns. We're going to start with our tithe because it's the first thing we do out of each paycheck, and it begins this formula rolling. So out of this paycheck, we're going to do $216. And then out of this paycheck, it's $240. And out of this paycheck, it's another $240. So as you can see, when I entered those numbers, it began calculating this minus this equals this. As we go down these columns, we'll see how much money we have left in that week as we go down, so that we are not overspending for the week or underspending for the week, because at the bottom of this week, we want to get to zero. So you can also see I plan to give $696. Then by dividing that up between the 216, the 240, and the 240 here, that allocated out, and that equals 696. So you can see that I did that math correctly. Sometimes when you're breaking things up like that, you might miss a number, and then at the end your math doesn't work out, and it's so frustrating. But that's why I have this allocated column in here, so you can make sure that your planned equals your allocated. And then that works for the whole category as a total as well. So you can always double check that you haven't missed anything. So now the next step, so we've gotten our tithe plugged in. The next step is we're gonna go plug things in according to due dates first, because we wanna make sure we fill things in according to due dates, because that's the whole purpose of this. We've got our week to plan out. We wanna make sure we have enough income for that week. So let's figure that out according to due dates. So our water, so the first thing, if we're scrolling down, the water, sewer, trash is the first thing with the due date. So my columns are the 1st, the 4th, the 15th. So this I'm gonna pay on the 4th. So I'm gonna put $150 there. This natural gas and electricity both come out on the 2nd. So I'm gonna put that on the 1st of the month paycheck. So 65 and 149. The internet comes out on the 10th. So it has to come out before the 15th, but I can put that on the 4th of the month paycheck. So I'll put 50 right there. Now this is a number I'm not so sure about, because we have been getting a grant for this, and I thought that grant was gonna run out last month, where we've only been paying like $19 for our internet. And I thought that grant was gonna run out last month, but we still only paid 19. So I'm just gonna keep budgeting 50, and so I'll be prepared whenever that grant does run out. So you can see then that everything in this category had a due date. So as I planned it out, this whole category totaled up to $414. And if you go over and look across, it allocated $414. So that category is all finished, all done now. So let's go down, look for more due dates. The phone comes out on the 11th and it's $69. So this is the 1st, 4th, 15th would be too late. So let's put it on the 4th, $69 there. Next due date is pet care on the 23rd. So that can go in the 15th of the month paycheck. Okay, so the entertainment, I do this instead of adding 5 lines to my spreadsheet. I just put entertainment category, and this is all of our subscriptions. So we've got Disney, Netflix, also our security or protection. I don't know what you want to call it, but we've got our Accountable to You, our Bark subscription, things like that that protect our family from seeing unwanted things on the internet. I can't think of a better word for that right now. So I just call that entertainment. It's all of our subscriptions. So it all goes in there. And rather than figuring out 5 different places to put this, I'm just going to treat this like an envelope. The first due date is the 2nd of the month. So I put this on the first paycheck of the month, all $71. And as this month goes on, that'll come out at different times. But at least it's covered because it's on the 1st of the month. Tuition comes out on the 17th, I think. Yeah, this is our last month for tuition, May. We're in May. So that goes on the 15th of the month paycheck. Another 17th of the month would be the gym, and that's $27. Our mortgage, scrolled too fast. Our mortgage comes out on the 1st, so that's $14.97. The kids get their income, which comes out on the 11th. So 1st, 4th, 15th would have to be the 11th or the 2nd paycheck of the month on the 4th. So 13, 12, 11. So what that is they get an income when they turn 10 and they get a Chromebook, and on that Chromebook is a spreadsheet, and they sit once a month and they get an income. It's $10 when you turn 10, and you get a raise every year and of $1. And so you use that money to sit and budget with mom. So they have to give, save, and spend, and they have sinking funds for all different kinds of things. Their first job is to create an emergency fund that covers enough to replace their Chromebook if they drop it down the stairs. They're all saving for phones, for cars, Pokemon cards, all kinds of different things. And as they get more things of value, their emergency fund amount increases. So my son has a phone now. He actually smashed his phone once and was able to use his emergency fund to repair it. And he was so thankful that he had that. But now that he has a phone, his emergency fund is bigger than the $200 it would be to replace a Chromebook. And he has to keep in his phone bill account enough to pay for his phone bill for the whole year. So he has quite a bit of savings, and they can earn more money by doing pay chores. We don't do, you get a nickel for this and a dime for this or $1 for this. They do their chores because they live here and they're part of the family, and they get an income because of that. Now they can do things like poop or sweep the yard, and I'll give them $5 for that. They can mow the yard. They can make money for different pay chores. We do have pay chores opportunities to earn extra money, and they've got babysitting and lawn care for other people too. So that takes care of everything with a due date. Now, if you come down to the very bottom, which I don't know if you can see. Okay, if you come down to the very bottom of the spreadsheet, our total spending so far is $1,998, and we had $2,158 to spend. So we have $160 left to allocate for this week. And we have $1,855 left to allocate for this week, and $1,271 for this week. So we need to go back up and finish allocating for this $160 in this paycheck. Now, one thing that we haven't given ourselves money for in the first part of this month is groceries or gas or dining out. And those are actually categories that are very easy to move around. So that's one of the places I like to start. Okay, groceries. So we've got $160 to spend. We should probably give ourselves a tank of gas. So we're gonna put 50 in that tank. I think that's about a tank of gas right now, I don't know. Prices seem to be going up. I heard they go up in the summer, and when I filled up my tank last week, I was pretty surprised. It seemed like it was more expensive. I don't watch the prices. I guess I should start, but okay. So we had 160. Just spent 50 of that, so we have 110 left. If we divide that by 2, so we could put 55 in groceries, and we would put 55 in dining out of some kind. I'm just trying to think about whether I want to put it in family dining out or date night dining out. I'm going to put it in family because we have, at the beginning of the month, we have band concerts, we have musicals, and I know I have a sinking fund for those things, but I also know that it's just a busy week, and I'm more likely to go out to eat or, just get too busy to cook. So I'm going to put it there. That's what I'm gonna do. Okay, so now we'll go down to the bottom, and we have fully planned out. So we have 0. So we have a 0-based week. Perfect, that's what we want. 0 left to allocate. Now we'll go on to the next week. I don't know if you can see that. We have 1,855 left to distribute for the next week or allocate for the next week. So we need to go back up, and now we're just gonna see how we're doing. So giving is fully allocated, so we're just going to check our work here. Oh, lump sum sinking funds, I haven't put that anywhere yet. I like to put that at the end of the month, the last paycheck of the month, and here's why. A lot of people believe you should do pay yourself first method, and I totally agree with that. My problem is I like to only do my transfers once a month, and I usually can find extra money in my budget and transfer that as well, but that means I'd have to do 2 transfers. So I'm going to put this at the end of the month, and when I find that extra money, I can tack it on and do 1 transfer. So that just saves me time at the computer and time away from my family, so that's why I do it that way. I absolutely believe in paying yourself first method, and if you have the time to sit and do more than 1 transfer, great, go for it, do it. But you also have to know yourself. It's these more than just math moments that I'm trying to work out. So when doing more than 1 transfer in a month might create a more than just math moment that messes up my budget, I'm gonna just do 1 transfer a month and put it at the end of the month. And I'm okay with that, but I know myself well enough to know that I'm disciplined enough to actually stick to that as well. So know yourself, figure out what's best for you, and stick to it and keep going. Okay, so now that savings category is fully allocated. Let's check housing is, am I scrolled up enough? Housing is fully allocated, okay. Food, this is not fully allocated. So we're going to now split this up. We have $1,200 in groceries, minus the 55 we've already spent, gives us 1,000, can you see that? $1,145 left to spend. Let's just divide it in half. Divided by 2. So we'll put, it's not an even number, we'll put 573 here and 572 here. And as you look across, I planned 1,200 and I allocated 1,200. So all of that mathed out. Sometimes, especially when it's like 50 cents, and I just don't math it right. So I'm glad that worked out. Family dining out, we planned 200, we allocated 55 already, so that gives us 145, you can't see that, 145 left to spend. Let's just divide it by 2, my favorite move. We'll do 73 here and 72 here, and that is fully allocated at 200. This one's easy. Date night dining out, we'll do 100 here and 100 here. Fellowship, we'll do 50 here and 50 here. Okay, so now food category is fully allocated. That was a lot of money we just allocated. I want to scroll down and see how close we're getting. Oh, I see red numbers here. I want to see how close we're getting to being over budget. So this 3rd week, I can see that we have over budgeted by $90. This looks like we have plenty left to spend, so I could keep going with my splitting up of money, but I can already see, and I want to save myself trouble later, that there is already overspent by $90. So I'm going to go back up and I'm going to turn fellowship into the full 100 over here. So that means I should be $40 over budget now. I'm gonna take this 100 and I'll make it 60, and I'll put that 40 back over here. So now if we scroll down, so we're still fully allocated here, 1700, 1700. Now let's go down. This third week is 0. So we're fully allocated, and the first paycheck of the month is 0 based, and the third paycheck of the month is 0 based. Now we can just plug everything else into the second paycheck of the month. So let's go back up and see what we have left to allocate. So food is done. Car wash and the rest of the gas money. So car wash, and let's see, that would be $250. And now that category is fully allocated. We put 150 here. Hair, oh, I messed that up. My hair appointment is the first of the month, I think. I checked my calendar. Yep, I checked my calendar. I messed that up. This 200 for my hair appointment needs to go here. Okay. This will be good because you can see I am not perfect. I make mistakes, and I just made one, so we'll go back and figure it out together. Kids events, we can put that here. Let's go back, figure out what we can move off of the first of the month. We need to move $200 off the first of the month. So we'll move this $55 here. So 573 plus 55 equals 628. 73 plus 55 equals 128. Okay. That was some crazy math for my head. So we are over budget by $90. So we still need to move $90, which I don't know. Okay. So we'll move this 50 over here. So now that's $40 we still need to move. Let's see what we have here we can move. Those are all due dated things. This is where we run into more than just math situations. So I have this much income, and it's all allocated, and it all has due dates. No more hair appointments on the first of the month. I know, so what I'm gonna do is move this. Because I made that hair appointment for the very first of the month, I need to leave that there. This, however, I've been treating like an envelope where I put it on the first of the month, but I could move it here minus whatever comes out on the second, because this is the fourth of the month paycheck. So let me look up what bill that is that comes out on the second, and I'll just put enough in this side to cover that first bill. Actually, I'll just take out the 40. So easy math. Okay, so I'm going to take out, instead of 71, I'm going to put 31 here, and then this becomes 40 here. That should have mathed out, right? Yeah, $0 left. Okay, I'm glad I caught that, because had I not caught it, it would be okay, because I have a buffer, and the first and the fourth are super close together, so I would have been okay. But I'm really glad I caught that. Typically, my hair appointment is in the middle of the month, and I've never made it that close to the first of the month before, so I'm gonna have to keep an eye on that and not do that to myself again. Okay, so thank you for bearing with me while I figure that out, but I think it's good. I think it's good for you guys to see that I am not perfect. I may be out here trying to help people, but it has come from a place of learning myself. I've learned some hard lessons along the way. So what I'm doing now is I'm going back through and I'm trying to figure out where else I'm not allocated, because I still saw some money down there that I need to apply. Oh, 63 for debt digging. We're gonna put that in the second of the month paycheck. We don't put anything in health insurance because we do all of that through sinking funds. So spouse spending and my spending. We each get $50 of spending money a month that we can use for whatever we want to spend it on. I'm sorry if you can hear my dogs. We spend that $50 on whatever we want to spend it on, or we can save it. We're trying to figure out a way to save it. I've thought about like a prepaid spending card, like a debit card, so that that money will just roll over from month to month. Right now, at the end of the month, if we don't spend it, I take it and I put it into savings. But it'd be nice to have a better way to really, split that up, and so he can keep his money and I can keep my money and save it over time. Like if I want to purchase something that's more than $50. But this spending money is new to me, at least. I've never had a spending category. I've always given my husband some spending money because he likes to spend money. I don't. So we're learning. Okay, so each week is zero-based. So we've got a zero-based monthly budget and we have a zero-based weekly spending plan. So every week is fully allocated. This is so important for your monthly budget routine. I bet some of your more than just math moments where you're not sure why your monthly budget is working are coming from moments like these, where your due dates just aren't lining up conveniently with your income. So there are ways around that. You can call and move due dates. You can split pay your bills. You can save a buffer. You can save a whole month ahead. All of these things are great ideas. All of these things work, and I've done them all. No matter what you do, keep going. You've got this.